Ever since his accident with some trucks at the harbor a few years ago, Percy was always careful by the key. They had since deepened the key a whole lot, making it more dangerous if engines were to fall in. All trains to pass onto the harbor were to have at least 2 brake vans equipped. But one day there was a brake van shortage, and Percy had to take a long train to the harbor. He realized that there were no brake vans on his train. The couplings jerked forward and Percy set off. Percy was nearing the harbor and he was going pretty fast. He tried to slow down at the key, but he couldn't. He realized he had no brake van. Help! He slid in farther than he did on his first plunge. Only one car didn't fall in, and that was the last car. Later that night, Henry had come to bring Percy out of the water with the winch car. This car had since slid in farther. They unwound the winch. They slipped it into the coupling of the last car. They started up and pulled all the cars off, out of the water, except for Percy and the first 2 cars. They had gotten caught on the edge of the key and were stuck. Henry slipped and strained and struggled. Percy would just not get out. It was decided that they needed a rescue boat. Soon, a rescue boat with a small crane on it arrived. They turned the crane and they lowered the winch into the water. And some divers attached the chain to Percy's front coupling. They were soon lifting Percy out of the water. Then lifted him on the tracks, but still submerged. Henry pulled him out. None of them had remembered that Percy was still attached to the chain. The chain snagged. Henry went off without them. The next morning, when Henry realized his mistake and came back, attached to the winch, detached the chain, Henry was off. On the way back, Henry had stopped to get Percy turned around. When they arrived back, everyone was wet and miserable. Percy was fixed. He dumped all the trucks that had pushed him into the water for